You won't believe what one of Hollywood's quietest legends finally admitted at 94 years old. For decades, Robert Duvall was seen as the definition of professionalism. No scandals, no loud feuds, no tell-all interviews, just great work, great films, and a reputation for class. But after more than 60 years in the industry, something changed. And when Duvall finally spoke, Hollywood didn't just listen, it froze. This wasn't gossip. This wasn't bitterness. This was late-life honesty. And it came with names. Duvall revealed that there were 4 people he could not stand during his entire career. Not for a minute. Not even while the cameras were rolling. These weren't minor disagreements either. These were clashes that shaped performances, altered careers, and stayed buried under polite smiles for decades. So why speak now? According to Duvall, it wasn't anger, it was clarity. At his age, legacy mattered more than playing nice. He'd watched documentaries and tributes rewrite history, painting tension as friendship and rivalry as respect. And it bothered him deeply. During a public tribute celebrating his career, Duvall sat in the audience watching clips from iconic films, scenes shared with people he privately despised, while a narrator praised creative partnerships and mutual admiration. That was the moment he'd had enough. As he later put it, "I listened to all that praise about respect, knowing some of those people tried to sabotage me." And that's when the truth finally came out. Robert Duvall. Before the bombshells, it's important to understand who's talking. Duvall wasn't known for drama. He survived Hollywood by staying disciplined, private, and focused on the work. He believed great films didn't require harmony, just honesty and commitment. And now, he wanted younger actors to understand something vital. Some of the best movies ever made were born out of chaos, jealousy, and bruised egos. Then he dropped the first name, Dustin Hoffman. Duvall didn't hesitate. He called Hoffman a taker, someone who blurred the line between inspiration and theft. Long before fame, the 2 men were broke actors in New York, sharing an apartment and chasing auditions. Duvall thought they were friends, but over time, he noticed something unsettling. His carefully crafted audition ideas would show up almost word for word in Hoffman's performances. Duvall said he'd spend weeks developing a character choice, only to see Hoffman use the same approach for the same role. And when Hoffman booked the job, he'd casually say he was inspired by Duvall. To Duvall, that wasn't inspiration. That was stealing. The tension grew as their careers took off. While Duvall was filming True Grit, Hoffman constantly called him for advice while preparing Midnight Cowboy. Duvall spent hours helping him shape the voice and mannerisms of Ratso Rizzo. Later, Hoffman publicly claimed he developed the character by studying people on the streets of New York. Duvall's contribution vanished from the story. The breaking point came when both were considered for The French Connection. The role went to Gene Hackman, but Duvall later learned that Hoffman allegedly told director William Friedkin that Duvall was difficult to work with. Duvall heard it directly from Friedkin himself. That's when he cut Hoffman off completely. Publicly polite, privately done. Marlon Brando. The second name stunned everyone. Duvall didn't deny Brando's brilliance. He called him a genius. But then came the other half of the sentence. The most destructive ego I ever encountered. Their clash happened on the set of The Chase in 1966. Brando, already a legend, had a habit of changing his performance every take, not for creativity, but control. According to Duvall, Brando did it intentionally to sabotage editing and undermine directors he didn't respect. During one of Duvall's biggest monologues, Brando allegedly made faint noises off-camera just loud enough for the microphones to pick up. Take after take was ruined. By the 5th, Duvall confronted him. Brando smiled and said, "Maybe you should be stronger in your choices." That moment stuck with Duvall forever. Not because it hurt his ego, but because it revealed how power could be weaponized. Brando taught him a lesson, just not the one people think. Duvall learned how not to treat colleagues. Years later, both men appeared in The Godfather, yet never shared a scene. At the time, it seemed coincidental. Looking back, it feels intentional. James Caan. This one cut close. On screen, James Caan and Duvall created one of cinema's most believable brother dynamics as Sonny Corleone and Tom Hagen. Off-screen, they barely spoke. Duvall described Caan as competitive to the point of malice. While Duvall worked quietly and methodically, Caan thrived on attention. During important moments for Duvall, Caan would fidget, tap props, exaggerate reactions, anything to pull focus. The rivalry peaked during rehearsals when Duvall was discussing Tom Hagen's motivations with Francis Ford Coppola. Caan interrupted with a mocking comment about overthinking a glorified secretary. That was it. From then on, Duvall used the tension. He decided Hagen would always watch Sonny carefully, subtly, with restraint. That choice gave their relationship its electric realism. What audiences praised as chemistry was fueled by real resentment. Yet both men protected the film. They smiled at premieres, told the right stories, played their roles off-screen too. That, Duvall said, was acting. Robert Redford. The final name shook Hollywood the hardest. Duvall called Robert Redford the fraud behind the golden image. Their conflict began on The Natural. Publicly, Redford was the symbol of integrity and artistic purity. Privately, Duvall claimed he was cold, controlling, and deeply strategic. Duvall watched crews wait for hours while Redford handled personal business. He saw Redford push to reduce his role, arguing that Max Mercy's challenges to Roy Hobbs weren't necessary. To Duvall, it wasn't about story, it was about dominance. The confrontation that sealed everything came during post-production. Duvall challenged Redford directly. Redford reportedly replied, "You're a character actor. I'm a movie star. We don't play by the same rules." That line never left Duvall. It exposed the gap between image and reality, between what Hollywood sells and how power actually works. In the days after Duvall's interview, Hollywood buzzed. Public statements were polite. Private reactions were very different. Crew members quietly confirmed stories. Industry veterans admitted the tension was real. Even Coppola hinted that great chemistry often comes from complicated dynamics. And Duvall? He seemed lighter. He made it clear this wasn't about revenge. It was about honesty, about correcting a history that had been overly polished. "These truths belong in the record," he said, "not just the shiny version." His final words were chilling. Those four stood out, but they weren't alone. So what do you think? Was Duvall brave or brutal? Did he shatter myths or simply tell the truth too late to ignore? If this story made you rethink Hollywood's golden age, hit like, share it with someone who still believes it was all glamour, and subscribe for more stories they never taught us.